And welcome to video 7. This is by far the most important of all the videos. This is where your final pieces of the puzzle will be given to you. And then after this, the videos get to be a lot more fun. But this one's really fun and very interesting. Here will be revealed secrets of why you haven't figured out reality yet. This is the video that will teach you the secret, the final secrets to reality. I'm going to expose them right here. So without further ado, let's get started with it. Here's something that you don't know, that nobody knows except for the people who know the true reality. And here it is. There is a black hole at the center of every galaxy. We just, within the last 10 years discovered that. It's a scientific fact. Here's what hasn't been discovered yet, or at least what hasn't been shared with us yet. It's the same black hole at the center of every galaxy. It appears to be many different black holes in many galaxies. It's not. I know that might be tough to conceptualize, and it is, and that's why you don't know it yet. But I'm going to show that. I'm going to prove it to you right here. And yes, this is important. Remember, in the next video, we're going to go over how this is going to affect and change your life. First of all, you have to understand reality before you can manipulate reality. Okay? So this is the last video that's going to teach you. I'm going to tie in all the other videos right here. You're going to see their very large place in the universe. It's going to change your life and scientific history forever. Imagine just after this video, you're going to know the secrets to the universe. No tricks, no math, unless you want to do the math. There will be some here, but very simple, and you don't have to do it to understand it. And I hope it's as amazing for you as it is for me. First of all, let's cover a little bit about time and about speed, because that's important. In the time it takes me to finish this sentence, you will have been carried along by the sun and the earth, moved through space at 750 miles. You just went 750 miles. In the time it takes you to think about that, you will have moved another 700 miles. I mean, we are moving every second of our life without colliding into anything with our physical bodies. Now, let's say if somehow we could stop something next to you. Let's say there's a pencil next to you, and you could stop that pencil from moving, but you kept moving. You would be able to watch it as you stayed put. As you keep moving through the arm of the galaxy through space, the pencil would remain suspended right there next to you, but it wouldn't move. You would be 140 miles away after 1 second. After 1 second, you'd be 140 miles away from that pencil. That's just part of the speeds that we're moving at. We have many more speeds to add to this. We need to add the speed of the whole galaxy through space. The galaxy is not just sitting still. It spins like a frisbee, and at times the arm of our galaxy is actually traveling in the same direction that the galaxy is traveling, therefore making you move really fast. The speed of the Milky Way galaxy is 190 miles per second, about the same speed as the spin of the arms. So at certain times, we are traveling in the same direction that the galaxy is heading. And at those times, you're traveling besides the speed of the Earth, besides the speed of the rotation of the Earth. You're traveling at 330 miles per second. The space you were sitting in 1 second ago is now 330 miles away from you in 1 second. We can't even fathom speeds like this. Now, that's important to understand. Everything is relevant upon the speed that is traveling. All of reality is determined by the speed that something is traveling at. Now, one more thing we need to talk about is size. Size is relevant by meaning it's relative to the observer. In one observer, one person, or one atom, whatever it is, one thing observing something in our galaxy, it could be an atom in our galaxy, in our reality. But to another galaxy traveling at a completely different speed, that atom could be an entire universe. Infinite number of times, one atom will be experienced infinitely, depending upon the observer. It doesn't even exist, as quantum mechanics tells you, which we know there's no such thing as quantum mechanics, another thing meant to confuse you. Quantum mechanics take that out, okay? That's an extra piece of the puzzle, take it out. Quantum mechanics doesn't work, and it's another means to confuse you. The reason they have quantum mechanics is to explain why everything is somehow connected together. Well, in our theory, with this model of the universe, you'll see how everything's connected together for real, and you won't need quantum mechanics. So, remember, size doesn't matter, after all. Size doesn't matter. Just because something appears large to us in our reality does not mean it's large in every other reality. Okay? So we've got time and we've got size. Now, an understanding of space and matter will be essential in this part. An easy way to conceptualize space and matter is with the interesting scientific fact. If you were to move all of the space between the nucleus and the electrons of the atoms in your body, let's that again. Take all the atoms in your body, we're going to remove the space between the neutrons and the electrons, and just leave the particles. If we did that, the only thing left would be about the grain of a salt. That's how much matter would be left, about the same size as a grain of salt. You're almost completely empty space. You're hardly any matter. So, now that we've got energy and matter, basically, so the empty space is energy. So you're basically energy. They call it empty space, but I like to call it energy, because empty space is energy, pure energy. So you are basically energy with one grain of salt of matter in this reality. Okay? Now, as we learned in the chapter titled Everything and Nothing, we can create our universe from just nothing and everything. So let's do that now. Let's start with everything, because as we know, no matter what we have, even if it's nothing, that's everything we have. And let's picture our everything as just empty space. Now, stay with me, because this is important. Remember, you have to understand reality to manipulate reality. So here, you're going to understand it, finally. If you're watching this video, you'll be one of the first ever to understand reality. One of the first average men. Okay? Now, let's picture our everything as just empty space. That's the beginning, just empty space. There is no field, there is no gravity, there's no particles, no light, nothing. Just empty space. And in the middle of this empty space appears an anomaly. Let's call it a hole. A hole in space, in the middle of our everything, or our nothing. Let's call this hole, just because we're familiar with the phrase, the Big Bang explosion. Just because we're familiar with that. Now it happens in the middle of our space. Remember, it doesn't have to be big. It can be tiny, infinitesimally small, because size is relevant. Remember, it doesn't matter. It might be tiny to the observers at that moment, but infinitely experienced, it's their entire universe. Now, you get this hole in space. What does the hole want? It doesn't want to be a hole. It wants back what it lost, the space. So the space is going to begin rushing back into this hole. because you can't just have an empty hole. Just like in a lake, if you throw a rock in, you get a hole for a fraction of a second, but the water rushes back in. And that's exactly what space does in our hole in space. It rushes back in. So you can think of it like this. Here's your hole, okay? It wants in the middle of space, the paper is space. It wants the space to come back in, so it rushes back in. Now remember, space isn't like this. Space is spherical. Okay, well, it's nothing like my grade school picture, but the space rushes back in here. So what's left here? Well, a void. This space out here then begins to rush into this space. This space out here begins to rush into this space. And once it's started, it can never stop. This is going to happen infinite amount of times. The pool can never stop. This first inner ring is a galaxy. This ring is another galaxy. This ring is another galaxy. They are not on a flat plane like they appear. They are one inside of the other. If we were moving, let's say this is our galaxy here. Let's say this is the Milky Way. If we were moving at the same speed as this galaxy, then it would appear where the galaxy appears to our eyes, the galaxy would really be there, but we're not. This one's going at the speed of light. It never experiences time. That's why the something and the nothing exist at the same moment, because it pulls in at the speed of light. And as we know from Einstein, anything moving at the speed of light does not experience time. So the something and nothing happened at the same exact moment. It never knew it was nothing, and it never knew it was something. However, this galaxy is moving at a different speed, not quite at the speed of light. So it does experience time, and therefore experiences the start of the universe. This galaxy here is not moving at the same speed as this galaxy, because the pull is not as strong. It therefore experiences this galaxy and this galaxy. And this galaxy now experiences this galaxy. And this galaxy experiences that galaxy. And this one. And it's infinite amount of time. It's only because every other galaxy exists that any galaxies can exist. Okay, now if you didn't grab all that, it's okay. I'm going to explain it. Okay? What science is missing in this date and time is an accurate model of the universe. They have done everything to explain the universe without an accurate model of the universe. That can't happen because the accurate model of the universe is the basic building block. It's the foundation. It's what you start with. It's not what you end up with. So for Einstein to have reached the conclusions that he reached without this, impossible. Okay? For this to have not been discovered, impossible. It's part of the cover-up. Now, let's explain a little bit further this. This is really important, and it will have a huge impact on your life. Okay? Now, as I explained to you, it's moving at the speed of light. So in the beginning never realized that it happened because everything happened at the speed of light. The nothing pulled on the something at the speed of light. Therefore, it didn't experience time. Therefore, there was no beginning to the universe, as far as the beginning is concerned. The only thing that gave it relevance was the other things not moving at the speed of light. Make sure you understand that. Now let's see where we're going. So, you can keep in mind that if you're asking the question, will the universe ever end? No, because it never began. Okay, now, each galaxy is going to appear in a different place to each other galaxy traveling at a different speed. And that's the reality of that galaxy. Okay, for another galaxy looking at us, we are not where we are right now. They're seeing us maybe 1 million years, maybe 10 million years difference when the light reaches them than where we are right now. Okay? That's one of the things that makes it confusing when you look with your eyes. You're not looking at the night sky and saying, hey, there's a galaxy over there and a galaxy over there. Well, yeah, there was 10 million years ago. And if it was traveling at the same speed as us, that's where it would be 10 million years ago. Well, the fact is, it was never really there. Okay, it is around us. Each galaxy is around us and inside of our galaxy. Just like an atom, just like a solar system, just like planets, like everything. It's all one thing, the same thing, experienced infinite amount of times. Now, if you wanted to go to the closest galaxy, let's say the Andromeda Galaxy is the closest one, you can look at a telescope and you can see it. You can say, okay, let's send a spaceship over there. It's over there, go that way. Well, that would be the long way to go. That would be the same as when Christopher Columbus wanted to sail around the world and they told him to go in a straight line because it's over there. He said, no, the Earth is round. I can go around the world and still get to the Indies. And he was right. Just because the Earth looked flat, it wasn't. Just because the universe looks flat, it's not. If you wanted to get to the Andromeda Galaxy, the truth is, you could fly any direction you wanted to and reach the Andromeda Galaxy because it's around us. It's not over there. Now, let's see where we're going. Now remember, the Earth isn't flat and neither is the universe. Now, we're going to go on to a little bit of science here, just to prove this, and I'm going to show you how simple it is. There's a problem, and it's called the uncertainties in measuring the distance of galaxies. This was made by Hubble, Edwin Hubble. We all know him, he's a famous scientist. Now, just a few pieces of the puzzle that I told you might need. In the part of the galaxy, in this part of the galaxies don't move entirely in conformity with the Hubble flow, but have finite particular velocities of their own. What he says there is every galaxy has a particular velocity of its own. Why would everyone be moving at a different speed if it was one explosion? Okay? Now, if each galaxy has its own speed, then it has its own reality. That's a proven scientific fact. Not only does each galaxy have its own speed, Hubble noted that objects in the universe, and this is really important, appear to be moving apart from each other. And that the further a galaxy is away from the observer being you or me, or any observer, the further away it is from the observer, the faster it would move. It might not sound like much now, but hear me out. And that's the observation used for the basis of Hubble's constant. An estimate of the galaxy's rate of expansion is an important concept in cosmology. It's very important. We've been using his concept to explain many things. Hubble's variable, it's also called. You can look it up on Google if you don't believe me. It's time dependent. Now, Hubble's law was made in 1929. Now, the only way to explain what we know to be true scientific fact is that the galaxies, depending upon the distance from our galaxy, this is what Hubble says, from me and you, are moving away from us at a speed that is dependent upon the distance the galaxy is away from us. So, this galaxy, pardon my grade school drawing, but it serves a purpose. So this galaxy, let's say this is our galaxy still, is moving away from us at a speed that is dependent upon its distance from us. So through mathematical calculations, this galaxy, we can calculate how fast it's moving without ever knowing, because we can say that it's dependent upon the distance from us. So if we know the distance of this galaxy, we can calculate its speed just by knowing its distance. And this one, because for some reason, they are dependent upon the speed of our galaxy. And that's a scientific fact. Okay, if that's a fact, then that says we're the center of the universe. Our galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, is the center of the universe. We know for a fact that's not true. Okay, so the only thing that can be true is our model of the universe, is that they are in a circle around us. And each one, as we get farther away from us, is moving at a speed relative to our speed because of the pull pulling it back in, just like we showed earlier. It's the only model that can explain what is actually happening in the universe. By model, remember what I just showed you is the model of the universe. The galaxies are around us, all of them, and there's one black hole in the middle. Now it looks like our black hole's over there, and 10 million years at a different speed, the Andromeda Galaxy would be over there. But that's only our reality. Okay, it's not really over there. Not in the infinite number of realities that exist. Okay, that's where it would be if things were as simple as your eyes make them see. But it's not. Now I want you to be sure you get this. What I am saying to you is that the Milky Way galaxy, like hula hoops, is around the black hole. The Andromeda Galaxy is around the Milky Way galaxy and the same black hole. There's a black hole in the middle of the Andromeda Galaxy. There's a black hole in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy. However, they are the same black hole. They just appeared different because they're moving. The galaxies are moving at different speeds. This has never, ever been brought out into public before. Now, one more thing I'd like to touch on. At this point, science is telling us, many things, they should probably just shut up because they're not telling us anything true, that the universe is expanding. The model of our universe is contracting, in a way, but time is expanding. So yes, the universe is expanding according to time, but matter is contracting. Remember, as these galaxies pick up speed, energy equals mass times speed equals mc squared is really not even a calculation. It's a made up number by Einstein. It means energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Don't let the c squared thing confuse you because he just picked a number at random. He needed a big number to show how much energy was in mass, so he picked the speed of light, it's a big number, and squared it. It's not an accurate number, it's not the actual accurate number, but it gives us a good idea. There's a lot of energy in mass. So never let that equation fool you again. So as these galaxies speed up, they gain mass. Einstein tells us this, and science tells us this. That's a fact. What is that mass? Well, that mass becomes you and me. Planets, stars, solar systems, asteroids, atoms, everything. That is just the space from this one anomaly speeding up in infinite reality. That space can become anything, and the energy is infinite. And that's the energy that you're going to learn to manipulate, to control your life. But you have to, this is what I'm telling you. There's no jump to faith here. This is the real energy. You've now seen how it created the universe, how it created everything, and that it's all the same thing. There's not, every atom in you, in some reality, is the universe. You'll find that every atom inside of your body is a little bit different. Every atom in the universe is a tiny bit different. There are no two atoms the same. That's because each one is this anomaly. Each one is this universe. Our universe appears the way it appears to us as a universe, very big. But to a different observer at a different speed, it's a tiny atom, possibly inside of his body. You ought to understand it's all the same thing. We are connected, we are one. As they said, God is inside of you. Creation is inside of you. What is God? What is creation? This is God. This is God right here. The acknowledgement, the consciousness that something realizes that it's something and nothing realizes that it's nothing. That is the first consciousness. That is what has created everything. Now the more this happens, the more consciousness increases. The more things that are created. We are part of this. We are part of God. We are creating this with our consciousness because we can think a lot more now than this simple consciousness, this simple experience that says something is something and nothing is nothing. We can think a lot higher than that. And we are creating these things as we go. And we are creating the universe. You and I. The problem is, until now, it's being created by a few people who have kept the secret away from us. Kept us from believing, from knowing the truth. Now, we know the truth. We have an actual model of the universe. We know that it's one power. We know that the universe is the same as a single atom. The size is completely irrelevant. Now, one more time. The most important thing that you'll learn from this video is there is a black hole at the center of every galaxy. It's the same black hole at the center of galaxies, at the center of every galaxy. And it's not a bunch of galaxies all over randomly spread out in space. They're all around us. They just look that way. Now, one way simplest to prove this, because, and yeah, you can prove this very simple, is the galaxy closest to us should have a different color shift, either red or blue. The two galaxies closest to us should have different colors. One should be red and one should be blue, because one's going to be inside of us, moving away from us, and one's going to be outside of us, moving towards us. So, I don't know if this is true. I don't bother to look it up, because obviously it is true. But that's one way you can do it. Find out what the shift is, if it's red or blue, for the two closest galaxies to us. I guarantee you, and I've never looked it up, I guarantee you though, if one is blue and one is red, that shows that one is inside of us and one is outside of us. Otherwise, why would it be just coincidence that the two closest galaxies to us have completely opposite directions? It wouldn't make any sense except for this model of the universe. Now, I've presented this theory in the simplest form possible because I'm a simple person and it is simple to understand the universe. And I want the average person to understand it. Now, there is much more to reality, and there are many other interesting aspects and discoveries to make. And we'll go over them together, we'll go over them in the videos. But for now, you need to think about these videos that you've seen and use your imagination. Even Einstein says imagination is the greatest key to solving the universe. Okay? Imagine these things. Picture them. Jump outside the box and think about the universe differently. I know it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard for me to think that every atom in my body is the same atom. And it's also the universe. Every atom in this room all came from the same thing. It's all one thing. We are all connected. There's nothing separate. And an infinite amount of energy to control this one tiny thing. Yeah. Think about that.